Hello and welcome to EverQuest Landmark. I'm your host Zappernoth, and today we'll talk about the patch notes from this past Thursday. Starting with the new features concerning your friends list and partying. You can add people to a party through your friends list, and you can also teleport to a friend's claim. If you're in a party, you're going to gain 20% of raw material if you're working together and are in range of each other. Teleport to a friend's claim has a cooldown of 30 minutes, and there is a consumable item that we'll go over a little bit later. They added mail to the game, this little nifty mailbox you can actually create and put anywhere on your claim. You can send mail to anyone in the game, add people from your friends list. Type of message. You can also include items in your mail, so you can mail materials or items that you've created to friends, which is a great upgrade to the game. Okay, the saw table is where you can create that mailbox. It doesn't take too much to make. Now the other thing they added to your crafting station today was the portal shard. You can make it on your forge, and again it's fairly easy to make. Just takes a little bit of tin, elemental tin, and some tourmaline. So those are tier 1 items, so we should be able to get those back in the game when we go to beta fairly quickly. It's a 60-minute cooldown to port to the center portal at each continent, and 60-minute cooldown back to your claim, and that is a shared timer. 30 minutes to teleport to one of your friends' claims. So if you manage that correctly, basically you'll have a 30-minute cooldown. Now the last nice thing they added to the game this week is attachments to social media. Under your main shield lower left, you have a social media item, and here it allows you to take a screenshot, type a message, and send it to Facebook or Twitter. I'm not going to go all the way through this, but at least I'll show you the process. So this is pretty cool if you've got a group of friends that you want to share what you're doing in the game. So you can either sign up or just attach your current account to Landmark. Make sure that you read all of the notes on this. And again, that's the last of the patch additions this week. Now, the next thing I'll talk about is the end of alpha, the beginning of beta. Now, Sunday night, they're going to shut down the servers, and that is the end of alpha. So make sure that you have everything you want to save templated, because it'll all be gone Sunday night. They're going to wipe the servers and start fresh on Wednesday. Okay, while I'm running around out here collecting some raw material, let's discuss how to prepare yourself for the coming closed beta. Again, first thing you need to do is stake your claim. So the sooner you're in for the land rush, the better off you're going to be. But you need to have an idea of what you want beforehand. The continents, I have an idea, may change, so we may not have the same land masses we currently have in alpha. We as a group are going to stay on the Liberation server and the Overlook continent where we're at now. And I'm not talking about Mog Nation as a whole, I'm just talking about a group of folks that we work with together here. So if you want to join us, that's probably where we're going to be. Of course, we're going to have to be flexible just in case they change things up way too much, or if there's not enough land available, we will have to change our idea on what we will end up with. One thing, you may not want to be too picky about the land that you select. There are many ways to build on land. It doesn't matter whether it's flat or almost vertical. There's something that you can figure out to build. But if you've got it in your head that you want a particular style of build, well, then yeah, you're probably stuck to a particular style of land to go along with that. Before the end of alpha, again, make sure that you have everything that you want to save templated. You won't have any raw materials to start with. We will have our pickaxe from the Founders Pack and anything you've purchased from the stores and the rest of your Founders Pack items. So you should have at least one claim flag. So once you get your claims staked out, the next thing to do is start collecting raw material. And again, the way I approached it in alpha is the same way I'm going to do in beta, and that is I will be collecting raw material to build up resources enough to create all of the crafting stations. It'll probably be the saw table first, stone forge second, and the reason I do it that way is there is a stone forge at the main portal area on each one of the continents. I doubt that that's going to change. So with that then, if you create a saw table, you should be able to create the rest of the crafting stations and start the progression on your tools. Without the saw table, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay, so with the saw table and a forge, then you go ahead and build up the rest of the crafting stations as you go along. You should also be able to increase the ability on each one of your tools. The pickaxe is a level 2 item. You'll easily surpass that like we did in alpha. I don't know yet, and there's been no notes, whether or not the raw materials are going to be harder to find, or whether they're still going to be all out on the surface of the ground. Again, looking in the desert areas in alpha was the best place to go mining because it was very easy to see the raw material. If they include caves or caverns in the closed beta to begin with, then I'm sure we're going to have to hunt a little bit harder for the raw materials. So keep that in mind, we might have to do that. Even so, the more complex a game is, the more rewarding it seems to be in the end once you get that indigo pick made and that gold axe. You should be pretty much set. And again, once you get your crafting stations and your tools, along the way, of course, you're going to be building up other raw material as well. You'll need a lot of stone, sand, and dirt to build with. And of course, you'll get some unique items along the way, some gems, metal, things that you don't need to craft with, but you'll probably need to build with. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue starting over, especially if you've templated everything you wanted to save from alpha. Me, I'm going to be building something probably completely different than what I did in alpha. There's several different types of building that I want to mess around with, see how creative I can be. So it doesn't matter to me whether or not I'm in the desert, in the jungle, old forest, some of the tundra areas. So I'll be one of the less picky people in our group, and I'll just follow along those who want to look for a specific type of land. So anyway, that's about all I can tell you about getting ready for the beta. Again, Wednesday next, which is the 26th, I guess, is when beta comes live. They haven't told us what time of day the service will be available, but we do know that Sunday night everything in alpha will be gone. Okay, it looks like I've got enough elemental rubicite to try for that next rubicite axe. So I'll go ahead and portal back to my claim and try my hand at that. So, until next week, in closed beta, this is Zappernoth signing off. Enjoy.